Hello there, everyone, and welcome to Melbourne Real, coming to you live from the world's most livable city, Melbourne, Australia. I'm your host, inspirational speaker, mentor, nice guy, and master of odd record every now and again when it takes me there. I'm Tony Jack the Bear Mantz. Thanks for joining us, and I'm joined alongside with my good friend, singer and songwriter, bass player, video maker for Damn the Maps, the irrepressible Mr. Martin Green.
Hello. How are you?
Good to have you.
Let's do this.
And so today I'm really excited about having a bloke I've known for quite a few years. He owns some tattoo stores. He's got a music venue bar situation called Whole Lot of Love. He's stage managed for lots of the world's biggest acts. He's a fucking cool guy. And I caught him online the other day, put up a really great video with a mate of his talking about meditation and mindfulness and stuff like that. And I thought, fuck, this is awesome. So I rang Rob straight away. I said, dude, fuck, I love this, what you're fucking putting out there, man. This is so fucking cool. So we should have you on the podcast. So he is very graciously accepted. And here we are with Mr. Rob Wog.
Welcome.
G'day, mate.
Hey.
Good to have you. Yeah. So no, you go ahead and ask first.
So Hold on Love and
Tattoo shops?
East Brunswick, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep. Which does that mean you got something to do with that little label as well on the side? That what's that one? Is it?
Is it three
That's it.
Ys? Something like that?
Anyway,
Can't
no
remember.
label stuff. Okay, cool. Yep.
I do have a label, but it's not that one.
I think I know your partner.
Rick Butterworth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, cool.
Sorry, Rick, I can't remember the label.
That's. Neither can I. Sorry. Yep. Cool. Okay, cool. So you've been doing looking after East Brunswick for quite a while now. They've been running for a couple of years.
Yeah, there's four of us that own it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm a part owner of that one, yeah.
That's on that unfortunate McDonald's corner, eh?
Oh, yeah.
And did a car go through there?
Twice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Once when we were having a business meeting and everyone had just gone home and we were just about to walk into the shop.
Yeah.
And a car just went straight past us. I reckon it would have been about a metre away from us and smashed right into the shop.
Wow. Wow. It's like living in downtown LA, man. That's awesome. That's a fucking badass, y'all.
Well, what a shock, though, to be sitting there all of a sudden and then hearing maybe a screech of a car and then turning around.
Yeah.
Boom.
It's so weird because when it happened, like bricks were falling on us and stuff.
No.
Like, it was that bad. Like it was crazy. But my first thing was, wow, I'm going to go check this out. So I just walked straight in and was like, well, there's a guy in this car, like, fucked up, you know? So I was like, I was in shock.
Let's face it, man. You got to tell yourself, if you're on that kind of precarious corner, right, there's only one speed a car's going to be going through that crash barrier.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If it's coming into the shop, you already know that motherfucker's going to come at you fast.
He'd already hit two cars.
Had he?
Yeah, hit two cars. I think he swiped a tram.
Yeah.
He had an epileptic fit.
Oh.
And just planted it.
Bushka.
So there was no braking involved. It was
that'll do
straight
it.
in.
That'll do it.
Far out. Okay.
Yep.
Poor fella. Yeah. So how's it going? A Whole Lot of Love next door? You got your
Yeah,
bar.
good. Yeah, really good. Yeah.
Seems to be picking up. Well, there's lots of bands going through there, lots of things happening all the time.
Yeah, a lot of internationals and stuff like that. Yeah. It's great because some of the internationals that I love have played there, and I get to go for free.
That's
and
awesome.
Hang out with them.
Yeah. So tell me, how long have you been? I mean, I know you still do it. You pick up bands, you do all stuff, but how long have you been doing the road managing for? Or tour managing?
Tour managing? Oh God. Well, I started playing music when I was 15. Oh, younger than 15, but I started touring at 15. Mm-hmm. So touring at 15 back then, we didn't know anyone. So really, I was the one that's formed the bands, and I was just the one organising everything, like the cars and the buses or whatever.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, right. So it just happened naturally that I just did it because if I didn't do it, we were all bong smokers back then.
Yeah.
But I was really, even though I smoked cones, I didn't want to sit at home and do nothing. I was really like, let's get out and do shit. So I would just do it. So that's where that stemmed from. So that's probably around when I was 15.
That's the best time to smoke cones.
Right.
Go out and do shit.
Yep.
Yep.
Of course.
Go on a fucking water slide, man. Go on a water slide.
Yeah, throw away the Xbox.
Absolutely. Get outside the house. Play with a dog or something.
So tell me, just for the sake of viewers and listeners, just some of the bands that you've had the pleasure of being able to
work for.
Yeah. Or any particular ones that have been favourite with you that you really enjoyed?
A lot of things I get asked is when they're like, "Oh, what are you doing this weekend?" and I've got to work, and I'll say something. So the ones that stick out to me the most are the ones because I've worked with so many bands, I can't remember them all, but the ones that stick out are the ones that I actually was a bit starstruck by. And I don't get starstruck ever, really. And it's two bands that it's happened to me with.
Yeah.
One was with Ace Frehley, and the other one was with Whitesnake, because I'm a huge fan of both those bands.
Yeah.
But, yeah, both were great to work for. I mean, when I worked for Ace Frehley, all I had to do was just pick him up from the airport with his wife and drive him around.
Yeah.
So,
At any time, like just any time after he got in the car, you didn't sing quietly into your head, I got Ace Frehley.
You know, it's funny, right? Because the first time because been touring a lot in my life, the first time I noticed someone getting starstruck was when I shot a pilot for a TV show called Dirty TV, and we interviewed bands. The first couple of interviews, one of them was Angry Anderson, and one of the guys who's doing camera were driving there, and he was shaking. He was white as a ghost. He was shitting himself, and I was just like, "Wow, look at this dude." I'm like, "What are you tripping out on? It's just Angry Anderson, you know." Blah blah. Then I got it because, like you said, when I was in that car, I just started thinking, "Oh fuck, man!" Like, when I was a kid, I remember like just worshipping the ground these cunts walked on.
Sure.
And it hit home when I picked him. When I was sitting at the airport and he was about to come in, I rang my mate Phil. I'm like, "Phil, I'm about to fucking pick up Ace Frehley," you know, and I've never done that much, but with Ace Frehley and with Whitesnake, yeah, I did.
Can I just confirm for our international audience when he said, I've just picked these cunts up. Cunts is a
Term of endearment.
Term of endearment, and that's good news. That's a good thing.
It's a good thing. It's good to be a cunt.
Yeah, a good cunt.
Yeah, a good cunt. Absolutely.
Not a bad cunt.
No, as the Buddha said, try not to be a cunt.
I'll clarify all the points throughout this podcast, all right? Anything needs clearing up, I'm on the motherfucker. That's my job.
But it's interesting you raising that, how the perception that we have of some people. You know, we meet these people that we admire and respect, and we put them up on this pedestal, and so I can understand that. The same thing when the first time I spoke to Bob Ludwig, I was like like a pubescent schoolgirl. You know, I literally was shaking on the phone. Right. I couldn't fucking believe. And then the bonus was after I got to meet him, I was just like, what a fucking champion. So, you know, we put these people up and we can be really in awe of them. But when you actually do get to meet them, then you realise, they're really no different to you and I. They may have different lifestyles and maybe have more money, but fundamentally they're the same. And when they're really nice people, wow, that just elevates the whole thing. It just really keeps instilling your faith in humankind.
I felt exactly the same when I met Obama.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
More like Mrs. Palmer. Anyway, so Rob, the main reason you're here today is because we saw this. I saw this great video of you and your mate, whose name escapes me now, but I fucking love him. He just comes across as being so fucking awesome, and talking about mindfulness and spirituality and being present and meditating and while I know you're a guy that's been on a spiritual path for quite a while and you're into it in a big way and more importantly, you know, you practice it. I mean, I've seen you change a lot over the last few years. Not that you were a bad bloke before, but I think over time, you've just become this really fucking awesome, gentle, fucking calm, loving fucking person.
Go fuck yourself.
Thank you. Where and when, darling. And I think you and I came on the. I don't know how long you've been going for. I reckon the last 5 years of my life have been more, shall we say. The last 5 years, I've been more interested in delving into spirituality matters of, shall we say, really making an effort of it. And so I don't know how long. I mean, how did you first start thinking about this whole idea of spirituality in general?
My one was it's a weird one actually. It was in the tattoo shop because what happened was how
long ago?
I reckon 15 years ago.
Right.
And was when I first started thinking about spirituality, because you always heard about this thing called the third eye and all this meditation stuff, but I just didn't, at that time I was just into metal and taking drugs and fucking partying and rooting chicks. But about 15 years ago I was going through some depression. I just broke up with a girlfriend long term and of 10 years, and I was tattooing this guy and he was really happy, and you know, and he could see I was just so sad, you know, and he said to me, he's like, "What's wrong?" And I just said, you know, but one of the main things that even as a kid that I remember, I was just afraid of dying. Right? Oh, right. And I had this really ongoing thought of how death works and what is it and what happens and all this. And just because I couldn't answer it, it killed me. It killed me. It made me depressed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So, and I think that makes most people depressed. What's you know, what's good. If we knew what was going to happen and it was good, no one would be sad. No one.
And if we looked at it logically, not many people should be sad either, I think.
Of course.
If you just looked at
agree.
it fucking logically.
I agree.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So this guy turns around, he goes, "Oh, what do you got to worry about?" And I told him I was afraid of death and all this sort of stuff. And he just turns around and he goes, "Mate, I've got a story to tell you." And I was halfway through his tattoo and he just goes, "Stop tattooing me. Do you want to hear this story?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he died. He died before. All right. He was in the army and he just left the army. What happened was he was in the army and he had a heart attack. And he got rushed to the hospital and he told me his whole experience of dying. And he told me it was the most beautiful experience he's ever had. All right. And he just turned it around for me. He was just explained his whole experience. And we spoke for about 3 hours. 3 hours. I shut the doors of the shop and we just hung out for like 3 hours. And he just explained that from that point onwards, when he came back, you know what he told me? He goes, "You know what the most painful part of dying was? Coming back into his body.
Yeah, of course it was.
Experiencing life."
And do you know what the
I've
most
read that
common?
before.
And do you know what the most common question that he gets asked from that time onwards? Why have you only got half a tattoo?
I did finish it. But yeah, and then when he told me that, and he was just like, "I live the moment. I live now." He left his he left the army, left everything, sold his house, bought this like mobile home van type thing, and you know, he took his son on a trip around Australia and he just lived.
Brilliant.
I love that.
There you go.
Brilliant. Yeah. That's
Changed
what
my life.
That's what he learnt. He learnt
Yeah.
to just go and live. Yeah.
Yep.
Go and do shit.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes we forget, and we need to meet people like that to remind us.
I did a study in life after death. I don't think I've said this one yet on the podcast, but if I have, fuck it, you get it again.
Yep.
I went through a period of studying on what's on the other side, either by channeled writing, by whatever I could get my hands on, as well as those people that die and are resuscitated.
Yeah.
So there's all these guys that study stuff. They put little Smurfs up on top of shelves really high up, and they go, describe what you saw, and then these people are actually saying, I saw Papa Smurf, and they go, fucking brilliant. The only way you could have seen that is if you were up there. Right. That's awesome, you know. And I found a shoe out there's a shoe up. It's in a gutter, and they'd run around the hospital and they'd look out every window, and then at the floor above, fucking 4 doors down out that window, guess what? Fucking tennis shoe in the gutter, and they're like, "Fuck, we're proving shit here." Yeah. So anyway, they do this survey of all these people. They ask them what you saw on the other side, and it didn't seem to matter whether you were religious, not religious, atheist, fucking you thought that there was nothing or whatever you thought. There seemed to be something. Life, if you will, existence, and there seemed to be this either self-evaluation, or if you were religious, fortunately for them, some sort of religious figure would give them that self-evaluation. And it all whittled down, these studies have whittled down to effectively a top 5 of questions, and the top 2 were the ones that I cared about. These top 2 questions that come up again and again and again, and are they're the top 2 fucking asked along this evaluation. And that's all we've got time for. They are, A, did you love? Number 1, did you love?
Yeah.
And did you accept love? Did you give love?
Yeah.
Did you experience love? Did you help others experience love? Did you did you love? Things, stuff, whatever. And number 2, what did you create? What did you create in the life that you did? Wow. Not what did you fucking destroy, who did you poison, what did you create?
Yeah.
I was really inspired by that, so much so that I actually got the words tattooed here on my thumbs.
Cool.
And they serve as a reminder.
Paid for a whole fucking album because of that. Yeah, absolutely. Very nice fucking studio. Because we wouldn't do it otherwise. What have you fucking created?
I actually have a similar story. I was watching a documentary, this was years ago. It was actually not that far long after I'd met this guy. And it was a story on these scientists trying to figure out life after death.
Yes.
The meaning of life after death. And I just stumbled on it. I don't know, because I don't watch TV. I watch YouTube and stuff, right? Anyway, so this let's start watching it. And what it was a really cool part in the documentary where there was this one girl, she had to get this brain surgery done. And the way to do it, the surgery was going to take X amount of time, and you can't, they had to stop her heart to do it. But you can't stop the heart and be dead for so long, right? Because you decompose and stuff like that. So what they did, they would semi-freeze her, so it would take longer for her to decompose, and they could do a surgical procedure longer. Sorry, I got it out.
Yeah.
Right. So what they did, so they interviewed the lady after she'd been, and she was under for, I think, 8 hours, but she was dead for 5. She was dead.
Kiefer Sutherland. That is ridiculous.
Clinically dead for 5 hours, right? Now, they did this surgery on her, and then they went... This has got nothing to do with the people making the documentary. They just heard about this experience. So they interviewed the chick, and they got the footage of the interview. And what they asked the lady was, what do you remember of your experience of being under? And she said, she came out of her body, she went to the light, all this sort of stuff. But one thing that clicked to me that makes sense that there is something and proves it is that she remembers a conversation between 2 doctors of what instruments to be used on the next maneuver.
What time was that conversation?
And it was about 3 hours after she was dead.
Fuck yes, that's rad. Yeah, that's cool. Cool.
Right. So hey, she was clinically dead. She had no electricity in her body.
Yeah, but
right?
cognizant enough to remember a conversation well enough to make.
And she had no. The reason why they were so crazy about it was because she was talking about 2 instruments that were rare.
Yeah.
And she would never have heard of.
Yeah. Right.
And she spoke of them.
Yeah, we're not talking about a clarinet here.
No. So that's just I was just like, wow.
So where you at with it? So where you at with it all now? In terms of, do you have any ideas or any theories as far as?
I don't think anyone can be at anywhere at certain. You're always at a certain point, but there's always room to keep going. It never stops.
How does it help?
That's
you?
what the Bible does. It stops. That's what religion does. It stops you in your spot.
It does. Yeah.
Right.
And it removes that personal responsibility to somebody else.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Spirituality just keeps progressing.
So,
how do you define it, Rob?
You know what? Right. So, what is spirituality to me?
Yeah,
it's freedom of thought.
Okay.
It's thought, because thought makes everything you see.
Yep.
Could you define that spirituality down a certain path to potentially? So, for example, could you say Eastern philosophy or Eastern spirituality is probably what you're looking at? I'm guessing that that's probably the case. If you're using those references, I'm assuming you're talking about that, leaning towards that Indian Buddhist-y kind of we're all one consciousness.
Not
No, you know what? It's more of a DMT thing. I've never had DMT.
Right.
Because
it's more of a DMT thing. What a good answer. Yeah, all right, let's talk about that then.
Because I think that's what their experience is, a form of DMT.
Well, DMT comes from the third eye, the pineal gland. It's a hormone, effectively, right?
But with meditation, you can bring it on.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's why I think they are so in tune with it.
Yeah, right. So that's I guess the question I was going on was is that's the path, that's the general kind of direction your spirituality is going? What kind of direction?
Know.
Okay, cool.
I don't know.
Yep. What are you into lately?
Sorry?
What are you into lately?
Lately? Believe it or not, it's bike riding in the mountains.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Bike riding in the mountains.
Man.
Yesterday I did 36 Ks in steep climbs in the mountains, and the smell of eucalyptus and even the horse shit and all that. I just breathe it in and be like, this is fucking amazing.
And you can't beat it because I've recently got a dog, and thanks to that dog, I stand barefoot in a river a lot.
There you
it's
go.
Fucking awesome.
How good is that?
It's very nice.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Nice to
connect
with nature, reconnect with nature. Even the burbs, like I said, just go out in the park, go on the river, just be with it.
A church would build their churches over the tops of these underground rivers, right? We prefer to just stand in the fuckers. Yeah.
So I know I guess for me, maybe I've mentioned before. If I have, here it is again. I guess I define it simply as this, and that is raising your vibration. Just doing whatever it takes to raise your vibration, and being in a loving state, and taking care of your body, and surrounding yourself with cool people, all attributes to that element, because we're all energetic beings. So anything I can do in that respect, that's what I define it. Because it's funny, it's almost become a little bit of a dirty word, spirituality, in some circles, because
heaps of things are that are good.
Yeah,
veganism.
Yeah. Well, we can touch on but
freedom.
People. They. Oh shit! I lost my trail of thought.
Sorry, man.
That's all right.
Sorry, man.
That's all right.
Sorry, dude.
I'd put spirituality as
vibration.
No, vibration. So a lot of people relate the spirituality to the New Age and the woo-woo and all that kind of stuff, and that's all good and has its place. And but as soon as you say, when people talk about spirituality, you do. I think it's very easy for you to be put into that basket, and I think it's more than just all that sort of stuff.
I'm going to go into a bookstore and ask them where the woo-woo section is next time I'm there.
Yeah. So anyway, speaking of veganism, mate, how long have you been?
This year, it's 23 years.
And what inspired you to change to have that?
You know,
change?
it's so funny. Going back to when I was a kid smoking cones and bongs, same thing. But anyway, we would go to the video store and just get gore movies, right? And in amongst all the gore movies, there was these documentaries. I don't know if you remember these, called Faces of Death.
Yes.
Right. So we were like, oh, what's this, you know? And we were like 15, 16, and we would go and watch these videos, and then we'd come to this, we'd put this Faces of Death on. And Faces of Death, I don't know if you know anything about it, but it's real tragic events.
Real executions.
Yeah,
real
executions
murders,
and stuff like
just,
that. And we were
people
15.
dying. People dying.
I'm nearly 45, so that was a long time ago.
Yeah, man.
And back then there was no internet, so we weren't exposed to any of that stuff. And next minute, I'm watching people being beheaded, and me and my mates were just like, fuck. And it really resonated.
Of course it fucking did, yeah.
And then they cut to a slaughterhouse of pigs being hung upside down and their throats slit. And for me, it was just as horrific as watching anything that I was just watching before it. It was the same impact. I was just like, fuck, this is crazy. And then I just didn't want a part of it.
Well, that can have a pretty profound experience on you.
Yeah. I've watched a pig get shot and slaughtered in front of me, and I just sat in the room and watched it. And that, not fun. Not fun
No,
at all.
it's not.
It's
It's
a
not.
real feeling,
You
man.
know what? I don't think I'd want to see it.
He
Yeah.
said something before.
I was a kid and I saw it,
He
yeah.
said something before that really strikes home for me about vibration and energy.
Of course.
And we are mind sponge. Our brain's a sponge of information and vibration. And when we look at an animal being slaughtered, when you think about it, it's going through the most horrific time of its being, and it's slaughtered, right? And then that energy stays in that body, and then you ingest it.
Of course, yeah.
And you're just eating that bad energy.
Can I be devil's advocate?
Yeah,
Yep,
go.
So, lion chases
Yeah, of
after
course.
a gazelle.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Bouncing through, and it's working on it.
I'm not a
and working
lion
on it.
fan, by the way.
Actually, you know what? Well, let's switch. Let's go wolves, because wolves. The best thing about wolves is they'll just follow that fucker till the end of the continent.
Yes,
They'll just
yes.
keep going until that
Yes.
fucker will run out of energy before they do. Right. I've got a dog. I know all about it now.
Yeah.
I totally get it. Twice a day, and so that thing's fearing for its life.
Of
It
course.
knows it's on, and it's running, and it's full of and it's full of fucking fear, and fucking its adrenaline's pumping. So all its meat's all fucked up, and those wolves.
Yep.
They're not getting tender steak. We know that for a fact. they're tenderizing the shit out of that as they eat it. But that's making these animals healthy.
Yep.
Good, clean, good thick coats, good raw food. You know, a good clean diet, right?
I agree 100%.
So, what's the difference?
Oh, the difference is we're not a dog. We're a different being.
Yep.
And they vibrate on a different level than we do.
Yep.
Right. But the thing is,
Obviously, they're more thankful for it.
yeah, of
Yep,
course,
yep.
100%.
Yes.
But the also thing, and don't take.
No, I'm just being devil's advocate, right? Yeah.
Because most people like to pick things of other animals that they like
Yeah.
to make an argument.
Sure.
But when I walked in, you didn't sniff my ass.
Oh, okay. Yep. Good one.
Dogs
good
do
one.
that too, right?
They do. Yeah.
I got that from a guy called Gary Yourofsky, which is great. You should check him out.
But you know the reason I don't sniff your ass.
Yeah.
It's because I have the capacity to say, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah, okay.
The dog's method of finding out how another dog is to lick the saliva off the side of its mouth or sniff its ass.
They're
all right?
also omnivores.
Okay, cool. Yep. So
Right.
so it's coming down to the humans are. Is this okay?
Yeah,
Cool.
totally. I love it.
fucking
I
this,
love
right?
it. I love
right.
it.
So they're omnivores, right?
Of course.
So all that out the way, we can just come to this is the diet designated to dogs.
Yeah, we
cool.
can do that, yeah.
So who designates what we are? Who decides that when you have human erectus, right?
That's a really good question.
Who's putting the diet of that animal?
Yes. Awesome. Right. And
I've been watching
this is what-
fucking,
this is what
Making a Murderer, man.
this is great.
I'm in the courtroom
This is
right
great
now.
because he brought up something before. What is spirituality and where is it at? And I don't think it's at any spot. It keeps moving.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So when I was born a meat eater.
Yep.
Then I watched that video.
Yep.
I became vegetarian.
Yes.
Then I learned a little bit more about it. I became vegan.
Yep.
Then I went raw vegan.
Yep.
Now I'm on a starch solution, and it just keeps evolving.
Yes, it does.
Right.
Yeah.
So my mind doesn't stop thinking about progression of getting better
Yep.
and healthier
Yep.
and what's better for the planet and all that sort of stuff. So that's where that stems from.
Yeah, cool.
So then when you talk about whether we're omnivores or not, if you want to get into that debate, it's not a debate. I don't believe in debates because debates means two people have two different opinions and they can go at each other forever.
I prefer the Socratic method.
Yeah, just talk,
ask some
and
questions,
learn,
and we
right?
steer the direction where you want it to go.
So the other thing is, when you look at herbivores, omnivores, and carnivores, they have completely different, makeup, digestive system.
Yeah.
So if you want to look at classic herbivores, we are a classic herbivore. Look at apes, like gorillas. They're our closest ancestor.
Yeah.
Gorillas and stuff like that. We are exactly. We're 1% or 2% different.
You know a lot of the, there's a fair chunk of that family, that ape family that are carnivorous. You know that, yeah?
No. So if you're talking about baboons and stuff like that,
orangutans.
They if you look at a baboon, to me that looks more like a dog. It's got canine teeth.
Yeah.
But
so it stems back to that the title of the particular diet for human erectus, for human Homo sapien. There we go. Jesus Christ, Homo sapien is herbivore.
Yeah, I think so. I believe I've tried so many different diets. I'm doing one. I always experiment on myself to just figure things out, Yeah. And one thing I did last winter, I did nothing. I stayed on my couch and I ate the worst vegan food you can think of.
Yeah, good.
People say, a lot of vegans will just say, if you go vegan, you'll be healthy. It's bullshit.
Fucking A, it's bullshit.
If you're eating shit food, you'll get sick.
Yes.
So I did it. I put on some weight and I went, what I'm going to do? I'm going to do that winter, have a blood test, see what my figures are.
Yeah.
Hits as soon as it started heating up, that's when I got the blood test. Started exercising, eating clean food.
Yeah.
And then after summer, I'm going to do the same thing and look at the results.
If you want to bring them back on the show, you just
they're
fucking sing
gross.
them, man. Cool.
Because my results, even though I was eating crap, were perfect, right?
Yeah.
But I want to see what the difference is,
with the inclusion of the lifestyle.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
Because just because it's vegan doesn't mean it's not full of hydrogenated
totally.
Palm oil and shit. Yeah.
But there is, and I didn't want to get into this, but I will. But there's another thing is, what are humans? Are we a made up species? That's why we're we're of this.
You mean
we don't know what our diet is properly?
Anunnaki talking.
Are you talking?
Yeah.
Is that where you want to go?
Yeah. Well, it's not where I want to go. I don't know, and I don't claim to have the answers. I've claimed to just have some knowledge of what I've been doing, and people ask me.
But the research, some of the researchers that I've got a lot of respect for, they do seem to be finding, dare I say it, evidence potentially of manipulated DNA. There's that whole missing link thing and stuff, and it is crazy and out there as it sounds. I've got to be that guy and say it sounds actually kind of feasible.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I actually think most of the things we do make us sick, even if we think we're the healthiest.
Yeah.
So it just sort of makes me think, well, maybe we're not meant to be in this dimension properly, as we are.
Well, I think I like to follow logic a lot. Anywhere I can. I hate to sound like that guy, but let's follow that on.
That guy.
I'll partially sound like him. I wrote a song sounds a little bit like this. If you're saying that potentially we're engineered, it's so simply testable. Your theory, we can test it so easily.
Yeah.
Look who's healthy and look who's not.
Yeah.
Look who's living long, healthy lives, and look who's not. And what are they eating and what are they not eating? It's so simple. Look at the China study. Look at sending an army across a continent to find out who is sick and who isn't. Yeah. That's very simple. And so, what are we finding?
The longest living people are
the aquatics in Cuba, right? Yeah, because of their super awesome water, right?
No, actually,
they solve every problem with water.
It's some religious
Aquaman.
It's some religious cult. They're vegetarian.
Just veggie.
Yeah, they're veggie, and they live the longest.
Well, it's interesting. We're talking about clean diet and good food and exercise and all that stuff. But the other big one is also relationships.
Yeah.
Oh, stress levels, of course.
Oh man.
Yes. Yeah, of course.
If we're talking about I was watching this really good TED talk yesterday, which talked about a study that Harvard have been doing for 75 odd years now, studying men and what made them happy.
Yeah, right.
Life. And about 20% of these guys who are in their 90s are still alive today, and the overwhelming response is really just quality of relationships.
Absolutely,
the ones who foster relationships, who are not in toxic relationship with their wives, who just go along with people, always, just without, just miles and miles ahead of outliving people, even if it was offset by a little bit by it, and it didn't matter from their socioeconomic background, how much money they had, their health, other sort of health things, but that was the one that really pressed it forward.
Look at Lemmy from Motorhead.
Oh yeah, look at him.
He lived to 70, and he did everything you weren't supposed to do, and he lived to 70.
Yeah.
So
George fucking Burns, wasn't he smoking cigars?
Yeah, and then some raw vegan can probably be raw vegan till like, 80, but have all this, even 70, and have all this stress and get cancer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like,
can I just say, I hate to be that guy as well, but this won't air for a couple of weeks, so it'll seem like incredibly old news. But rest in peace, David Bowie. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
So he may have been vegan once.
Maybe.
No, he definitely wasn't.
Potentially drugs got to him a little early on, I think. Maybe. Who knows?
But look at Iggy Pop. You would have thought Iggy Pop would have died before Bowie.
Sure. Yeah.
And he looks...
Keith Richards, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
But Iggy Pop looks like... he looks healthy, man.
I work at it. That's all he says, eh? I work at it.
Man, he looks healthy as hell.
Henry Rollins goes, you fucking work at it. What the fuck? You look amazing. Yeah.
No, most definitely. So, Rob, what are future plans for you, mate? For the shops and that?
I don't know. Like, for me, I don't think about that stuff. I just let it do its own thing. It's its own entity. Yeah. But for me, I just do...
What about for you personally? Where do you...
I want to move to the country, far out, away from the crazy city life.
Beautiful.
And grow my own food.
Tune in, drop out.
Yep.
Beautiful. I think it's... more and more people are wanting to go down that road. Makes a lot of sense.
I'll eventually end up out that way as well.
Yeah.
I've found a few little towns I quite like. Yeah. I wouldn't mind setting up a business and just employ the town.
Yep.
Bring money back into the towns. Just set up shop, something. I've got a few ideas.
Yeah.
That could basically it just could operate anywhere in the world. It doesn't really matter.
For me, I think I'd like the idea of. I think the isolation after a while would get to me, and I like the little bit of buzz of the city and the proximity to friends, even though we have technology. So for me, I think lately what I've been doing, been lucky enough to go down to this place in Torquay, down by the coast, which isn't out in the boonies, but still it's a small little town. It swells in the summer and whatnot.
But that's an hour and a half drive, right?
Not even. And just going there, breathing some salt air, just a slow down pace. Yeah. Even for that day or two, I find really, really rejuvenating. Really
Absolutely.
Nice. Come back in the city. So that for me, that's kind of how I see the future for me. Anyway, there you go. All right, then. Well, listen, Rob. If people want to get a hold of you or the shops,
that's pretty quick.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I know it seems like time's
he
flying.
Hates me. He wants me to go.
Sorry.
No, we've still got a little way to go.
Okay, right.
We've still got quite a bit actually.
All right. So Rob,
can I ask him a question?
Of course you
can.
Go for it. Ask him. Of course you can.
Because I love those questions you asked, but I want to ask too. Like, for example, what do you think you're getting from the experience and the health of meat that I probably would lack?
Cool. Do you know the funny thing is, I'm not a carnivore either.
Oh wow.
I'm a relaxed vegetarian.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. No,
cool.
I'm like I said. I said I'm being devil's advocate here, not being a carnivore. No,
cool,
not at all.
Cool.
No, but I'm not strict. So my rule is everybody can fucking leave me alone for one thing. But two, let's say I go over to someone's house and they just cook a chicken, right? Me and the girl will just fucking eat it, man.
Yeah.
You know why? Because I'd rather not be a dick.
Yeah.
My reasons for being the diet that I've chosen are strictly health reasons.
Yeah.
And a little bit of the empathy towards the creatures, of course. And so they're obviously even if I'm forced to eat meat like you are in fucking Tokyo, it's really hard. Yasai, hey, no problem. And you're like, cool. There's a big fucking sliver of meat right at the meat's on the top. Udon, ramen or something. It's a big fucking chunk of pork. I just said yasai. Anyway, for me it's been mainly health. The benefits I have seen from removing milk from my fucking diet for a start. Yeah, Jesus Christ, especially unhomogenized, unpasteurized, just dead fucking cells. Yeah. Jesus Christ, man. Yeah. And red meat, obviously, man. So, what was the question? Yes, I'm actually a relaxed vegetarian anyway. So, I couldn't say what the benefits are from my side of eating meat. Yeah. If these are the ones that I've been studying this shit for a decade, man. And that is, I can take like a guy that I know. And he eats massive amounts of breakfast in the morning, and there's a lot of meat in his breakfast, and there's a lot of meat in his lunches, and there's a lot of meat in his dinners. You know, he is right up in that American 33% meat kind of fucking portion sort of thing. And he's as thin as me, and it's, you know why? It's because he gets up fuck early and he works his ass off on a farm every day, all day, every day, and he is just churning through shit. He's ripped and he's fucking sharp as, and he's healthy and his skin shines. And my point is that he is going through those massive degrees of energy. Yeah. I work in an office, man. Yeah. I do not need that level of energy, and so I can get that. I don't need to get that in a condensed form from dense animal proteins. Mm-hmm. I'm not a fucking wolf. I'm not a cheetah, so I don't need that shit. So I can live quite happily off fucking brown rice and vegetables, or you know, a fucking quiche or whatever. So vegan aside, for me, I sort of sit in that middle range of. So I wouldn't have an answer for you about where one would get the meat unless you were that was your lifestyle. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like as in a hunter?
As a fucking, a hard out hunter. You know, if you're an Eskimo, you got to eat that shit, man. Yeah. No,
absolutely.
Yeah.
We're victims of our own environment.
Absolutely. We are. Yeah. But we're also creators of our own environment.
Yeah. I think what's interesting is we're talking about people living the longest in the world. I watched a documentary, I think it looked at the times about 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago. The 5 places in the world where there seem to be more octogenarians per capita, and Osaka, Japan was one.
Did you say oxygenarians?
Octogenarians.
Octogenarians.
Yeah.
Could you clarify for the audience, please?
Old cunts, right?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Octogenarians.
I
get it. Oh, okay.
Over 80,
8
90
generations.
years of age.
Oh, right. 8 gene. Yeah, sure. I got it now. Yeah.
Very high.
Yeah, the audience have been clarified now. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
So there's quite a lot.
I'm interested now. Sorry, in joke. Don't worry about it.
Go.
So anyway, so there was Osaka, Japan.
Yep. Japan in general.
I think Corsica. I think in the Adelphi coast, Italy, Mediterranean, around that area.
Yep.
There was the Inuits, Indians, and the other two escape me now. But what was interesting was some of these common denominators, and but all of them were. Ate mostly clean food, organically grown and sourced, seasonal, mainly seasonal.
Oh yeah.
They were any of the proteins that they did eat were again from grass-fed sources, from animals that they reared themselves, not from a factory farming type situation. They also were involved in doing more labour. They weren't as sedentary, so they weren't necessarily just hunting and that, but they would be in the fields. They'd be working. They didn't have a lot of the modern day luxuries in their even though in many cases they certainly had access to be able to have these luxury items.
Did they have good Wi-Fi?
I don't remember. We'll have to go back and check it out.
Yeah.
But and the other thing, what was interesting was the fact that they felt inclusive within community.
Yeah.
So you'd see at this Italian do, for example, the old people and the young people were all
working together.
That wasn't a case of like you oldies over there. So the oldies felt, the older people felt, they were
valued as a member of the
absolutely.
Cool. Yeah.
But they also did because they were again like the classic elders passing on knowledge.
Yes.
And stuff, and they were respected and they were taken care of, and they weren't thrown into nursing homes and shit. So
you need to be challenged when you're old, otherwise you lose your mind, right? It's simple. It's plain and simple.
You look at what happened 30, 35, 40 years ago. You had to retire at 60, 65.
Yeah.
And
what do you do for 30 fucking years?
They just died.
Yeah,
most blokes just died after.
Yeah,
because
the stats are huge.
In life. They had nothing to do.
They've stopped learning.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a sense of community, a sense of oneness that when you look at what's spirituality, it's freedom of thought for me, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So what's the first thing that happens to kids? They get stripped of that. That's where they attack kids. Adults are already done. Like you can't teach an old dog, new tricks. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much. So they attack. They get to the kids, right?
They do.
I remember seeing a thing, an ad on Facebook, and it was baby water with added fluoride. Just stuff like that. You know what I mean?
My first Colgate.
Yeah.
My first Colgate. Yeah.
It starts there and it just keeps going. And then what happens is, instead of being taught that, when I was a kid, I remember my mum, she's from Italy, and they moved here in like the late 60s, early 70s, and we were like the Italian invasion. And I just remember growing up as a kid, all the Italian community, if one person had an abundance of broccoli in their backyard, they always grew their own stuff. You know, the other one heaps of pumpkin. They'd share.
Yeah.
They wouldn't sell it. They'd just share.
Yeah, that's
Someone
right.
needed something. We don't do that. And
Well, I grow turntables. I grow like Pioneers and old Yamahas and stuff. I grow them and I try to share them as much as I can with people for other different things. It does happen, my friend. It does happen locally.
But we just forget that
We do.
instead of being, we're just taught that success is your success, not our success.
That's right. Yeah.
And I think that
Good
adage
one.
of you become successful by helping others is the way forward.
We are not going to progress.
We all go up
You know,
together, man.
I've seen it in management all along, and that's why, you know, when I started Deluxe, the model was this. As I said to Andre, my protege, I said, mate, you're not an employee, I'm not the boss. I'll get you coffee. I'll fucking do whatever it takes. There's no hierarchy. There's no boss. We're all fucking equal here. I'm not interested in a bitch. I want to fucking get you in the deep end so you can make fucking bank. Because when you make bank, I make bank. Fucking everyone's happy. We all go up together in this fucking journey. Yeah. So and it's worked a fucking treat. And that idea I remember I saw in this documentary about a Brazilian factory quite a long time ago. But I love the idea that upper management, yes, there was a hierarchy because there needed to be admin and a financial team and, you know, R&D and all that kind of stuff. But the guys at the fucking top though would go down on the fucking floor for 1 day a month to fucking get first hand in the fucking trenches, getting their hands dirty.
Yes.
And they had an open door policy that said fucking, you know, Martin on the ground floor, kind of see fucking Rob Wog at the senior manager and say, hey, Rob, you know what? This is fucking dangerous. This is shit. And he's going to know because like, fuck yeah, no, you're right, man. I had my head cut off in that fucking thing. Yeah, we'll do something about it. And you know, the doors were open and there were bonuses. And when there was fucking profit margin, you know what? Everyone on the floor got a fucking cigar and a fucking, you know, what have you. You know,
Now
bottle of scotch.
we're all hanging out in the penthouse.
Yeah. And I think that's what it's about. It's like, and I've respected and admired, you know, people that do the same kind of thing. You know, they do something. Even this podcast, man, I said, he's only here for the ride, man. It's not about the money or there's any money, but, you know, here's the opportunity to hang out with the fucking dude and get on people that I like and my friends just to fucking get them on and fucking help them out. You know,
You know, it's funny.
And the editing.
Everything's so
and the PR.
everything's backwards. Everything is reversed. When I look at things now, I just think, man, it's got to be the opposite because it just is. Everything's like schools. They don't teach, right? They just dumb kids down so they don't make problems.
I've got one. They don't teach. They just teach knowledge. They don't teach wisdom.
No.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Doctors, they don't make you healthy, they make you sick.
Yep.
You know, the governments are there to help us, but they fuck us over. It keeps going. And
Should we elaborate on any of those? Because they're big statements.
well, yeah, I could.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so money, right?
Yep.
Well,
I love this shit. Bring it on, man.
All right,
Let's
so
go.
let's talk about money. Why is something that has no value so important?
You mean the fact that paper
actual
cannot be?
Yeah, I can't say currency because money comes in different forms. It doesn't even come in currency anymore. It can come in just a number on a
absolutely.
on a bank statement.
Finance
So
companies can
I
just
can't
make
even
it.
say it's money anymore.
Yeah, that's
You know
right.
what I mean? So my point is, what made it value? Its value, you know, like
Yeah, and you look at how banks got so big because you need a $20,000 loan. It's no gold's moving from A to B. No, it's just numbers, man. They're just creating money, and people pay that off, and it's
so funny,
retarded,
right?
man.
Someone said to me, they're like, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "You know what? The easiest way to explain money is like this. Here's a new country, right? There's people on it, and they've got no money. So what happens is the banking system go, here, have some money, but we'll give it to you at 10%.
Yes.
Right? But if they're only given $1 million, how are they going to give an extra 10% back if they don't have it?
Yeah, they need a tax.
Doesn't work. It's a massive rip-off from the start.
Of course it is. Yeah.
So it's never-ending.
Well, it's taxation. It's taxation, right? That's how taxation works.
Crazy.
And so
it's crazy.
It makes perfect sense that the reason why America's $26 trillion in the hole or whatever fucking it's because of all the fucking weapons in the war, man.
But you know, and then I get the same question is, you know, but why do they want us? Why do they want our money? They don't want our money. They want us to want the money
and they want
us, work for it.
They want our services.
So we're the slaves.
Absolutely.
They can just make it. Why do they want money for? Money's nothing to them.
No. They want our services and our
Great fucking
resources
irony,
and
man.
our knowledge. Yeah.
So
Why do you
much
think?
fucking irony
Why do you
in
think universities are called universities?
Oh, yeah.
Don't get me started.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's a royal society?
I watched this. There was this grouse guy who was talking about how what money is, and he was saying how it's got a lot to do with the ocean and water and stuff like that, and the way it flows, like money flowing. And he talks about how a bank, the river has a bank, and the money flows through the banks.
Yes.
And just stuff like that. I can't remember his name. I thought it might have sparked one of you guys, but no, this guy was just talking about how money works.
Yep.
And it's so fishy.
It is fishy. It is fishy.
But yeah.
Sure. Yeah. That they are. Money's a crazy one, man. It is, and debt, and however it just every dollar represents a dollar of debt. That's all it is.
And the pursuit of money.
Yeah,
it's the pursuit of money that keeps you from spirituality, because you're concentrating on how to pay your next bill instead of worrying about just sitting there and living the moment.
They call the first 4 letters of mortgage is mort for a reason. I think.
It's funny how a lot of that, a lot in our language, there's lots of even registration, regis, the king, and stuff like that. There's lots of
courts and magistrate pertaining to magic.
Yeah, I love watching those videos of those truthers that managed to go in the American courts and
say,
the Catalans left it shift, the abandoned shift. Using using their law against them, because a lot of people don't understand it. Not do life that.
Can I ask you? Do you think people are waking up?
I think portions of people have woken up, but unfortunately, I think portions of people have woken up decades before, several times now. Right. We keep sort of doing it, and then we have this sort of, just like the ocean and just like waves, I think we get up to a point and then we kind of all go, oh, fuck, and we just forget because we get distracted by something else. Mm-hmm. There's always, and now it's at that point where, every day is a news feed, and depending on what you subscribe to, that news feed. And so your mind has changed backwards and forwards, all over the place on all sorts of things. And you are distracted by so many things now. There are so many TV shows just to keep you away from all that shit. And you can go, you know what, man? I used to spend an hour a day meditating. Now I spend an hour and a half watching Breaking Bad. And there's 26 more episodes I've got to get through. I've got to get through this shit because House of Cards comes back next week.
Yeah. I was thinking about that because I stopped watching TV about 10 years ago. But now I've got this massive TV in my lounge room, and I set it up to my laptop, and now I watch YouTube.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing. I find myself watching really bad, because at night my brain's firing, I can't sleep, right? So I'll sit and I'm like, I have to watch really dull shit to get tired. So I'll watch like the Jeremy Kyle show.
So dull.
It's so dull. But for some reason I got to watch that full episode, and I don't know why. But
1 star. Dull.
Well, speaking of hosts, I actually, for the first time, actually gave Jimmy Kimmel a go. A proper go.
Yeah, the Man Show host.
I really liked him.
He's fine.
I fucking liked him. He was so fucking...
Did you watch The Man Show back in the day?
No.
There's a really good movie by the other guy from The Man Show. Well, I can't remember. He's a comedian, right? That guy. There was The Man Show. There was Jimmy Kimmel and... Yeah, that dude. He did a movie about a comedian who was on a massive show with 2 comedians where one of them went off and became a fucking megastar, and he stayed just touring around the fucking local pubs and shit, like exactly what fucking happened to him. And it's a really good movie. Yeah. Find it. Just use Google for the rest. Yeah, but it's a good movie, by the way. Yeah. Jimmy Kimmel's fine.
Yeah, I like him. I really.
As is the other Jimmy.
I was really fucking impressed by him.
The Roots play for one of them.
Yeah. The bass player. Yeah, he was on there. Fuck, it was good.
Questlove, y'all. Yeah, no problem at all. Like Questlove he talks and shit. He's like Paul, right? Paul, what's his name? Paul. He's the Paul Schaefer of fucking that show. Yeah. Really? Huh?
Yeah. I never got all that shit though. Those sort of those American Burt Newtons.
You got to bounce. You got to bounce. You got to have someone to bounce off. Hi there. Hey there.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, mate. I'm just being mindful of time. How are we looking? I'm sorry.
We're about 49.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We'll go about 10.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just mindful because I've got a dude coming to the studio today. Because we normally record the podcast at a certain time, and we have to start a little bit later, so it's
all good.
It's all thrown things out.
So we're bouncing all over the place.
Sorry, mate. I just got a topic I was going to throw down. The flat Earth, man. Tell us about your thoughts about the flat Earth.
Oh,
because last time we saw each other, I was really like, wow, okay, next level for you.
I can't speak too much about it. The reason why is because I don't know enough yet.
But you're just what you know. Because you're obviously feeling like it seems like it's intrigued you.
One thing you got to try yourself, and a lot of the people, the flat earthers, say to try this out. Go up and tell someone that you believe in the flat Earth. The first thing don't even say you believe in it. Just mention it, and you'll always get the same reaction. I got it from you, and I did it too when I first heard it. It's that, right? And that's so crazy because sometimes some of the most crazy things that you think are real are absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, and
it's getting
so
the whole world thinking about it.
I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to give it a shot. What's
Sure.
this thing? You know, it went for an hour and a half, and I watched it and was like, fuck, you know? Who's to say it isn't? You know?
What'd you watch? What was it?
If you just type in flat Earth,
Yeah.
millions of
Document. Is there? You can't remember one that's specifically
there's
good?
so many,
All right,
but there's
all
so
right.
many out there that are there to make you disbelieve it as well. If you know what I mean.
Yes.
You know.
I've had a good, serious 2-hour conversation with one of my best friends about this. We've sat there and we just went right through it. And the fundamental point the fundamental question I have is, why would the government and NASA just think about what's the motive for this crime against humanity? Why would they go to that much effort to say, actually, it's a ball? And when I look up in my telescope that's on my front doorstep and I look up at fucking Saturn and I can see the cunt with my own fucking eyes and I can see that it's a round thing.
Yep.
And I know that Venus is a round thing because I've seen it with my own eyes and I go...
So have I.
And I see how when you stick a fucking stick in the fucking mud and the shadows come across, I see how it moves.
Yeah. Have you watched any flat Earth documentaries?
Not yet. No. I'm just asking the question: why would they go to that much effort to hide it?
Because it confines us into one area.
So
did you know it's illegal
Yeah.
to go to Antarctica and explore beyond Antarctica?
Oh yeah, but that's for other reasons though.
Well, you know, but why are we not allowed to do
beyond the tundra? What's
Yeah,
beyond the tundra?
That's right. But I'm not saying it is a flat Earth, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying I don't.
Well, fuck, that's the best motive I've heard so far because we couldn't come up with one in 2.5 hours, but that's actually pretty good to prevent us from exploring further.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It keeps you. You know, it's like. Once you think you're confined to a planet, you don't think of a beyond.
Right.
Just like if you raise a bird in a cage, it doesn't know about being free.
But what about
it's
drugs?
never going to think about
What
it.
about drugs and meditation? What about taking, for example, as you said, it's all about DMT, right? Well, in this case, for the next 2 minutes, it is, right?
They're trying that. They're trying to stop that too. They're trying to stop us from being spiritual. What are the most illegal drugs? You know,
you're the ones that get you closer to God, God damn it, or closer to death. Yeah.
Or they poison the drugs to make you, you know. Where do you think speed and ice came from? It didn't come from some skinny dude in a lab. It came from scientists who made it and put it out there to get people sick.
Absolutely. Yeah. There are tribes amongst this planet, and there's one in Africa. The guys with the big freaky hit things. Damn it. Really short word.
Those guys.
Dobi, Dodi, Dodi, Dogi, Dobi. That one. It's that one. In Africa, right? They know, though. There's no clarification as to how they know. Right? When they were first visited 100 and something years ago by white settlers or whatever over there in Africa, they asked, "Where'd you come from?" And they described a place that we effectively had to call Sirius B. They said it was near Sirius, but it was in that Sirius thing, and it was there. Right.
Oh, wow.
And they've got a written language, and they showed this umbrella. So like it goes like that. And I'm gonna fucking mark that up. It goes like that, and so it looks like an umbrella with a little thing sticking off the side, right? And that was about 100 and something years ago. So they described exactly where it is.
Wow.
Right? They go, it's there. That's where we come from. We come from the stars. And in 1972, we developed a telescope that proved that they were correct.
Right.
We couldn't see it. They couldn't see it. They had no tools or anything to give them any evidence that they could see it, but they knew it was there and they were right. And then we figured out why that umbrella symbol was their symbol is because it actually shows all of the stars everywhere, that umbrella, and it shows the way that they rotate around each other.
Wow.
Please correct me if I'm wrong on that. That's what I saw. That was on the documentary that I saw. And how the fuck did they know that then? And other than by going inward and trying different substances and having that information brought to you, well, could we not also do that just to clear up this whole fucking flat Earth thing pretty goddamn quickly? Could you not just drop a little bit of DMT, lay on the grass, and just look at the fucking sky, watch the clouds go over, and just know that we're on a round globe?
You know. Yeah. I think with this whole thing, it's interesting, but I guess this applies too, and that is absence of evidence is not evidence of absence.
Yeah, like EDTA in blood. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is my take on it. Thanks for asking.
No problem. What do you reckon?
Does it really matter in the context of my life whether it is true or not? It's something I
It only matters if you want to go to Antarctica.
It's an interesting thing. Okay, and then and open enough to hear. Okay, well, I'm interested to hear what you have to say because at least it gives me some input on it rather than just completely dismiss it.
In
terms of just the day to day, I wouldn't. I just don't invest too much in it. I guess that's it.
I would be more convinced by that toroidal Earth thing, that where the energy goes in through the holes
that whole Tesla.
That toroidal. I think it's toroidal. I believe I've got it right. That there's that shape that it makes, and they believe potentially
hemorrhoidals.
That's right. Something like that. That effectively that the reason that we can't go to
shape.
that it going into the cores. Yep. Not fingering two people on either side, but going into the core of that apple. And they reckon potentially there's that theory that you can't go there because they don't want you to get inside that lovely place where potentially things are.
Is that maybe the same thing as like black holes where you get to the horizon? Maybe there's that.
Potentially there's something over there that one might not want. I've heard that theory as well. Yeah. To me, that makes actually, I hate to say it, but a tad more sense than the flat Earth one. But personally, any final thoughts on the flat Earth theory?
I don't know. Like I'm still looking into it.
Yeah.
But like he said, is it that important to me? The only reason why it's important to me because I just want to know what we're being lied about.
That to me is most important. Absolutely, yeah. If we're being lied, what's the motive? If we're not being lied, fine.
That's it.
While we're on the subject of clearing up a few lies of the past, could you just fucking tell us about JFK? Could you just let us know? Something like, you know what I mean? Is that what you're trying to say?
Was he fucking? Was it
the fucking CIA?
but if we were to know,
was it Bush?
But if we were to know, what change is going to make? What real change is going to make to you or the world? And then how do we know?
If it came out that it was a flat Earth and it was being hidden, right? The change that it would make would probably be fuck all. I'll tell you why. Because people are so asleep that they would just dismiss. Like when people get told about the money system, they go, "Oh yeah," but what do we do about it? We don't do anything about it.
When people get told that their food's killing them, they don't do anything about it. Don't do anything about it.
So I think fuck all. I think we only have to attack things as an individual. Like think about things as an individual. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing because you just do everything that suits your purpose and everything else follows.
Well, yeah. No, I think the best. My thing is just trying to live your life as best as possible.
Yep.
And then as more and more people start doing that, I think that's what awakening is. And you asked before about, do you think people are awakening? And I think that the internet has certainly, and look, maybe if there is a cabal around the world, maybe they do control the internet. But interestingly, there's still there's a lot of mindless crap and shit on the internet, but there's also a lot of really good shit as well. And I'm seeing more and more people putting out more positive shit, more good energy. So I think that. I certainly feel that there's a movement, if you want to call it that.
A wave.
It's still probably in its infancy or a little bit, maybe in its adolescence. I don't know. It's hard to sort of put a timeline on such a thing, but certainly I see some progression. I think maybe it's because as I'm starting to do more of that main thing, I'm probably attracting more of that myself. I mean, and vice versa. But certainly, man, I think it's changing. As to where it's going to go, I don't know.
I have hope. I do have hope.
Yep.
There is an awakening. There is a lot more people getting on board, movements, a lot more news, a lot more, people doing really clever things with their money, with the energy that is money, and turning it into something great. I think, some of the things that like Elon Musk is doing, trying to actually, I was talking to a guy the other day who, came up with a really good business idea, and his bottom line is helping people first. Fucking help. Yeah. We help people. People just give us money. Just help people. Simple, isn't it? Yeah.
You were saying before what makes people happy. There was a study on what makes people at their happiest moment is when they're helping something else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Either an animal or a human.
Far more so than
at their happiest when they do that.
And ultimately, as I'm saying, we are here to serve. Ultimately, that's really what it's about.
Yeah.
In the day, and everyone does in their own way. But I think again, as long as it's a good, positive way, then it just adds to the whole collective, doesn't it?
How popular are those videos where it's like a man sees a goat attached to a tree? What he does next will make you fucking cry. So you jump on and you look at it, and it's this dude, and it's a fucking real aggressive goat ram, and it's got its fucking horn caught on a tree, and it's just gonna fucking die there, right? No one's gonna save it. If anything, they're just gonna, the crows will start at him, and the fucking flies will start laying their maggots and shit. He's fucked, right? So this dude's like barefoot, no gloves, and this thing's just going rah, rah! and it's this tree. The tree's about fucking 3.5 inches thick. So the first thing he does, the only thing he can do is tries to snap a tree. And it starts to snap, but it snaps like fucking 50 centimeters higher than the goat is. So even worst case scenario, he's still going to pick this goat up and go, fuck you, get off this fucker. He's in some trouble. And then finally he managed to sort of untangle this fucker. And then it runs away. And everyone's just like, oh my God, man, you helped the goat, bro. Yeah. It's one of the most beautiful things. You get such warm hearts when you see people helping shit.
Yeah. Most definitely. Yeah. All right. Listen, on that note, we're going to wind up.
Hit it.
All right then. So, Rob, we'll have to get you back again, man.
Sweet as.
That was great.
You're the quintessential, as I said, you're the quintessential fucking guy we love having on our podcast. You're fucking awesome.
Very much appreciated.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Thank you, sir.
And now, listen. Now, is there any? Is there Facebook or a Twitter or website?
Anything you want to know?
Sorry.
Any contact?
Well, my YouTube channel's Rob Wog.
Yep.
That's pretty much where I do, all my speaking and stuff like that. But
cool.
Yeah.
Easy. Done. We'll
Wonderful. All right.
We'll put some shit.
Thanks,
Cheers,
brother.
man.
Good to
Legend.
see you.
Cheers.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, everyone. And we'll sign off by saying, as always, say, be nice to each other, but more importantly, be nice to yourselves. All right.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys. See ya.